Cup referees, and has most recently done the Calcutta Cup game between Scotland and England. And he's John Lacey from Munster, and this is 49th game. So Ulster skipper for the second time, Paddy Jackson, starts this crucial game here. Dan Fish takes it and finds a pretty decent touch, and that's a very good, what they call these days, a posh terms, an exit strategy, Eddie O'Sullivan.
Yes, the oldest called a really good touch. Yeah, I mean, good start from Cardiff. As I say, it's important for both teams, so it should be a good game and a good surface gym. It's cold here, but it's good for rugby, and sure to see a lively game, I'd say.
John Andrew with the first line out throw, and it's a good one. Pienaar gets it well away to Sammy Arnold. Oh, a bit of zip in this one now. Stuart Olding in the line. Little step inside, just got away there from Alan Summerhill. Pienaar again, now Jackson. Franco van der Merwe, who's played more games in the starting position for Ulster than anyone this season. Pienaar recovered from virus, back to Jackson. A little touch there, so everybody on side. Cardiff the chance now to counter, and that's the scrum half, Tomas Williams. Fish goes into cover, Rhys Patchell gets it away, that's nicely done. Ulster went for the intercept, but knocked forward, it seems, by Cardiff. And a rather suntanned John Lacey, just indicating that it's going to be the first scrum to Ulster. Ulster's Jacob Stockdale up very quickly, and on this pitch, Eddie, it's tailor-made for running rugby, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very fast track, as Paddy Wallace mentioned in the lead-in, and it's perfect for running rugby. It's tough on the joints, and it's the other anomaly is the ball pops over the rucks erratically if it's touched at all. But yeah, we should see a lively game. You saw Cardiff off the bat there straight away, almost got round the corner of Ulster. Good intervention, and the cause being corrected. I thought it came off an Ulster player, and it did, and the touchers intervened, and John Lacey's changed his call to a scrum to Cardiff.
I hope John enjoyed his break in the sun wherever it's been. First put in, and this is first start ever for the Cardiff Blues for the 21-year-old from Treorchy, Welsh under-20 scrum half Tomas Williams.
Okay.
Ulster conceding £3 a man.
If that happens again, it'll be a free kick. Let's start
in the pack. John Lacey not altogether happy. There's been an awful lot of nonsense at scrummaging over the weekend, particularly in the Six Nations Championship, and we don't want to see it this afternoon. It's starting to ruin games a little bit. Bring back the days when you get up and you pack down and you put the ball in and away you went. Callum Black, who celebrated his 100th Ulster cap a couple of weeks ago on the loosehead side for the men in white. Williams pops it in. It's a good, subtle-looking Cardiff scrum. Bit of a squeeze on from Cardiff. Ulster will need to dig in to avoid the penalty. They have just about. Patchell. Oh, he's moved it wide to Fish. This is nicely done. But unfortunately, his pass was far too high for Tom James, who's not a small man. That went across the ground like a rocket.
Yeah, it was a terrible pass, but there was no need to make that pass, Jim. They had an overlap on the outside, simple hands, and they were around the corner. But that's twice. There you go. That's an unnecessary pass, but that's twice that Cardiff have almost got around the corner here, and you know, I'll be a bit worried that Ulster getting a bit narrow, as they tend to do at the start of games, Jim, all season, starting narrow and then fixing it when the problem has arisen.
Well, that was a problem against Cardiff. One of many, the Scarlets, I should say, last week. Craig Gilroy, who started off his Ulster senior career with a couple of tries here way back about 6 years ago when he was only a baby. Nick Williams, who's coming here at the end of the season. And first penalty against Ulster. And down injured already is Luke Marshall, which is not so good. Gareth Robinson straight on. Yeah,
and poor cleaning up by Ulster there. Plenty of play around the ruck, just didn't get in and get the business done. And Cardiff got over the ball, but Luke Marshall stayed down. Looks like maybe a little ankle, which is not unusual on the surface, Jim. Ankles and knees.
Time off.
Well, Ulster at one stage had an embarrassment of riches in the middle of the park. Fortunately, they've got Darren Cave on the bench who could come on for Luke Marshall. I'm just looking down to see if there's any sign. Darren Cave has emerged from the tunnel with all his gear on. Luke Marshall is sitting up, I'm glad to say, and that was the point when the penalty was given away, and the referee will just pause for a moment to see what's going to happen with Luke Marshall. Robbie Dyack in front of Nick Williams.
Well, I do not want to lose Luke at this point of the game, very early. He's in great form this season, both defensively and ball carrying, and it'd be a big blow to Ulster this early in the game.
Well, he's nodding and he's getting up, and he looks a little bit ginger. Now, is he going to stay on? That's going to be the question. We're not actually looking at him at the moment. We're just looking at people taking on water, and he seems to be fine. He's dusting himself off, and he gives the thumbs up to his opposite number, Alan Summerhill.
Stay there, please. White one.
Referee telling Callum Black just to step back and observe the distance between the two respective lines. That's well taken in by Cardiff. And well away by Ellis Jenkins. Cardiff putting a bit of width on it, but Sam Arnold and Luke Marshall have ambushed Rhys Patchell. But the big red-haired outside half has made it available. Tomas Williams gets it away. Good tackling by John Andrew, but Cardiff shunting forward. This is a good start by the men in blue and black, taken on by the man supposed to be replacing Nick Williams next year, Manoa Vasawai, who's quite keen to get a contract to remain here if he possibly can. Patchell again, Cardiff with a lot of width on it. They've obviously watched what the Scarlets did to Ulster in the first half last week at the Kingspan. Here's Patchell again. This time it's Jacob Stockdale makes the tackle on Alan Summerhill. There's Jenkins once again. Callum Black had to make the tackle. Tomas Williams gets it away. Patchell. This is Tom James, who's always caused Ulster problems. Good tackle there by Ulster. Rhys Patchell not getting through at all. And the referee has decided that once again Ulster have knocked the ball forward. And once again it's a scrum through Cardiff, and once again it's Luke Marshall in trouble, and I think this time it's the shoulder on this hard surface.
Yeah, he's in the
what a start for the youngster. Absolutely. And I think he's in a lot of bother.
Yeah, I think just watching the replay here, it looked harmless enough as the way he fell after tackling Rhys Patchett, and it's like a shoulder, which is, I mean, ankle to shoulder, but he's not a happy man at the moment.
Well, Darren Cave had gone back in again, or had gone into the little dugout, and he may well be required. And for the second time, Luke Marshall, maybe he's just winded. I think he might just be winded, Eddie. Nick Williams is coming over and offering him a little bit of consolation.
He's winded, he'll get over that, but yeah. But they're signalling to the touchline, so.
Did he come down on the point of the shoulder? He certainly put in a very, very strong tackle. Got his arms round Patchell, which is perfectly legal, of course, which is what you're meant to do. But he's gone down, he's given himself a bang, and he is coming off. And
he landed on his elbow, Jim. Landed on his elbow and jarred his shoulder.
It's just very unfortunate. And they're going to get Darren Cave on, who's been stood down for this game. And nobody will know better than Darren Cave that he had one or two little defensive shortcomings a week ago at the Kingspan against the Scarlets and the Irish International. He played a couple of games during the World Cup. Will be very keen to come on and to show what he can do, and he'll be playing in his normal position of outside centre. So Marshall off and Darren Cave on. Not quite 6 minutes played, still no score, but advantage all the way to Cardiff Blues.
Yeah, well, I think Darren will be called into play very quickly here if the scrum stays up and stays square, because I'm sure Cardiff will have a run straight away. He'll get to rectify those mistakes from last week.
Crouch!
On the tight head side for the Cardiff Blues, it's Salesi Maafu, the 32-year-old from Sydney. He's played 14 times for the Wallabies. Bit of a controversial figure off the field on occasions. Good strike by Matthew Rees. No real pressure coming from Ulster at this stage. Vasawai stretching, and Cardiff trying to get a squeeze on now to force a penalty. And Ulster just giving ground a little bit. Round comes Pienaar to try to disrupt. John Lacey having a good look, and he's going to give the penalty against Ulster. And Ulster scrum in a bit of bother. Don't forget they're starting with their third choice hooker and probably the third choice tight head prop. And those first two scrums, I think, have shown that.
Well, I think, Jim, it's obvious from the outset that they feel they have the edge on Ulster in the scrum, and they're going to exploit that every chance they get, because they had a really prime position to attack here. The scrum was square, could have easily played away from it, and they just kept working the scrum. And Ulster came off on the outside on the left-hand side and went around the corner, and they just drove through. And looks like a really decent chance for 3 points here. But Cardiff look like they're in cup mode at the moment about getting a result, and they know as much as anything this game is so important to them in terms of their position in the league.
Well, it was steady for a while, and then Cardiff got the squeeze on, and Ulster had to slow it round and started to disintegrate, particularly in the front five. Good work there by Brad Thayer, just the 23-year-old having his first start for the Cardiff Blues, like his scrum half colleague Tomas Williams. But it's all eyes on Rhys Patchell, fast approaching 600 points for Cardiff. Where's that one going to go? It's going to go wide. Well, that is a bit of a let-off for Ulster.
Is indeed. It's not form for Pratchett to miss those. He's a good kicker, but it never left his foot properly. He came across it a bit, but it's a let-off for Ulster, and you take it on a day like today.
Paddy Jackson been a member of the Six Nations squad to date, but hasn't featured in any of the matchday 22s. This is Tomas Williams. Gets it away to the vastly experienced Josh Turnbull. Williams again, Patchell. Plenty of width in that. Fish. Ray Lilo, who turned 30 last week, the Samoan international, played in all 4 games of the World Cup for his country. Ellis Jenkins, an abrasive open side flanker, takes it on. Patchell again, and look at the space they're creating. This is a good bit of handling there by the Cardiff Blues.
Ball's available now.
Back from Patchell, Ulster up very quickly. Vossawai, well tackled though by Bronson Ross, the Ulster tight head. Patchell's got back into position quickly. Now Dan Fish, little slip pass, looked a bit on the forward side to Alan Summerhill, but John Lacey happy enough. And again, Ulster shooting up out of the line. They've got to make the first tackles. That's been knocked forward by the All Black.
It's over.
And Ruan Pinar's given it. Now, is there enough on it? Just about. What a good kick by Ruan Pinar. And also for the very first time inside the, not just the Cardiff half, but the Cardiff 22.
It was good defence by Ulster there, Jim. Cardiff probed them left and right out wide. They looked a bit skinny at times, but they were able to recover. Probably helped by the fact that Cardiff are throwing long passes, which makes it easier for the defence. If Cardiff were to put the ball through the hands simply, it could be a bit more difficult. But credit where credit is due. Cardiff made no inroads there. Eventually turned over the ball, and Ruan Pinar has punched them right back into their 22.
Great tackle there by Callum Black. Cardiff line out. Well taken in the middle there by big James Down, the 28-year-old. Good ground made. Ulster taking it down, but I think it's pretty legal. Now, is there a chance of an Ulster turnover? Not at the moment. And Williams is shaping up, I think, to kick down that far touchline, but he's brought it in field. Underneath it is Gilroy, who's knocked it forward. Referee playing advantage, and none is coming. Not like Craig Gilroy, that one either.
No, it wasn't a particularly good kick. He had plenty of time under it. And he had Nick Williams waiting off his shoulder to offload it, but fortunately fumbled it in the air. Not his form. But I think he turned his body at the wrong time and went through his hands.
Well, Craig Gilroy chasing Tommy Bowe and Andrew Trimble in terms of try scoring. He's got 5 in the league this season, giving him 32 in all and 40 for Ulster since he started his career on this very ground a few seasons ago with 2 cracking tries. 10.5 minutes gone, still no score. The only chance, a missed penalty by the Cardiff outside half, Reece Patchell. Tomas Williams
Too far. We agreed head to head.
playing in his 6th league game, and his very first start has a little glance over his left shoulder, and out in the far wing behind him are both Dan Fish and Tom James. So to get this scrum right, could there be a wee switch? Taylor has a wee look to see what's going on, and has indicated to Craig Gilroy just to watch that blind side.
Set.
Cardiff getting a wee nudge on early, perhaps. Nope, referee happy enough, and here comes the Cardiff squeeze. Ulster trying to dig in. That's a slightly better Ulster scrum. Williams, Patchell, Lilo. Thought about the reverse pass, just about caught it no more by Chris Henry. Nick Williams rolls out of the way. Tomas Williams, Turnbull up to halfway and across halfway. Good driving by Turnbull. Henry holding him up, and Sam Arnold was in there as well. Penalty against Cardiff.
Good work by Ulster, Jim. Held them up, went to ground, got in over the ball, and good turnover.
Arriving player.
Josh Turnbull was the man who made all the ground, but one of his forward colleagues transgressed. Jackson's given it a nice clip. So once again, Ulster in a pretty decent position, and this time it's their line out. Win just perhaps favouring Ulster at the moment.
Yeah, you can see there the poach coming from Peter Brown, right in over the ball, holding on.
Ulster have the full complement of the line out. Bit untidy, knocked back by Van der Merwe, but Callum Black does a good job in tidying up. Pienaar looking for Henry. Open side flanker takes it forward. Hasn't featured so far in the Six Nations. Nicely done. Jacob Stockdale has a good charge. Came in off his left wing. Better approach work now by Ulster. They need to finish it off. Robbie Dyack gets up to the 22. Williams, well, taken off at the ankles, but quick release by the big fella. Jackson, Darren Cave, Ulster's replacement. Tackled by the Fijian who's played for Italy, Manu Vosawai. Again, it's slow ball. Well, the crowd thought that Ruan Pienaar had fumbled that forward, but he didn't. Now Jackson. Olding. Ooh, good work by Olding. Gets across the 22. Bit of patience now by Ulster, and that's what they have to do. Pienaar in so quickly to get it away. Gilroy in the outside half position. Van der Merwe with an outrageous dummy. Options on both sides. Pienaar comes open. Big Peter Brown came on last week as a replacement for Alan O'Connor in the first half. Jackson flat to Sammy Arnold, very nearly got through. Patchell had to make a decisive tackle. John Andrew starting just his second ever game. Lack of concentration there by Darren Kidd, and here comes Tom James, and he may have the legs, and Craig Gilroy. Down goes Gilroy. Play on, says the referee. Paddy Jackson did well to come back and support his wing three-quarter, but that little fumble by Darren Cave has cost Ulster some 60 metres, but they still have the ball. Now they need to set this up. They've got to be patient. Here goes Williams. Much better, and Pienaar again saw a lot of space away down there. Dan Fish has knocked it down.
Out, Blues. Out.
Well taken by Pienaar. Needs somebody to assist him. Stuart Olding is in there. Cave at scrum half. Well, Callum Black got man ball, and most of the population of Cardiff.
Straight down for me. White player stayed up.
Onto the knees by a Cardiff forward. I think it might well have been the tight head prop Salisi Mafu.
Good phase of play there, but unfortunately Ulster building good pressure. One handling error. This surface hacked away downfield. They recovered well though, and pumped it back out, but Cardiff came back at them again, and again Cardiff off their feet. Cardiff making probably mistakes at their ruck. Ulster making mistakes with the ball in hand, so at the moment a bit scratchy and a bit messy.
Thunderous tackle by Josh Turnbull on Callum Black, who felt that, and to give Black a lot of credit, he held up and he managed to present the ball quite nicely. This is Turnbull, 7 times capped for Wales. Good line out by Ulster. Chris Henry gets it away to Sammy Arnold. Bit of a scruffy pass, but Arnold's done well to make ground and set the ball up. Here comes Williams again. Good drop of the shoulder, and he's keeping hold of the ball. Jackson. Darren Cave has a cut himself, runs smack bang into the American Blaine Scully, who's a big strong physical filler, and the breakdown is annoying John Lacey to a huge extent. Everybody seems to be committing offences there.
Yeah, he's holding on again, so it's interesting because referees recently, Jim, have been given the attacking team more I suppose more latitude on the ground to clear the ball, and Lacey's been the other way today. He's got it coming down the side of the defenders. So you get over the ball today, you can turn it over. But Lacey's having none of it for sure, and the players have to adjust to that.
Reece Patchell, that was a bit on the scruffy side from the man who got his 2 Welsh caps against Japan in 2013 on the tour there. There's a lot of the Welsh players who would have been on that tour were playing for the British and Irish Lions. Matthew Rees. Turnbull goes up at the front under a bit of pressure from Robbie Dyack, held in by Vosawai. Robbie Dyack goes over trying to spoil. He's done a good job. Bronson Ross needs to be careful he doesn't stray offside. It's still Cardiff's ball, but it's slow ball, and Turnbull has to take it forward just to bring things in field a bit. Stolen by Robbie Dyack. Williams gets it away to Jackson. Little kick for Gilroy to chase, and Fish is turned, but he's going to be quick enough, and there's a penalty against Cardiff. John Lacey, much to the delight of the crowd, when referees has almost slipped, but he's indicated that Ulster have got the penalty.
Another holding on call at the ruck, Jim, exactly the same as previously. A great turnover by Ulster. I think Chris Henry has something to do with it as well, get right in over the ball, so he's really working at the moment, the referee, in favour of the defenders. And Paddy Jackson's shot here to put Ulster into the lead.
Well, Paddy Jackson has a bit of a breeze behind him, and it's certainly well within his range. Now, is that the Surrey supporters branch of the Ulster fans? Coming up to the end of the first quarter. Jackson will have watched with interest Rhys Patchell miss a penalty after only 7 minutes. This would do Ulster's cause no harm whatsoever. That's not going to come in, I don't think. He allowed a little bit too much for the win, so Patchell has missed, Jackson has missed. 19 minutes played, still no score.
This game, Jim, has yet to take off yet. There's been a lot of over and back and mistakes here, mistakes there. A lot of penalties at the breakdown, and it's got no rhythm in the game at the moment. And you know, it's hard to see any team at the moment take the initiative, but it's there for one team if they want to grab it.
Well, in terms of territory, the opening 10 minutes or so belonged to Cardiff. The last 10 have belonged to Ulster, but the scoreboard has not been bothered. Here comes Patchell. He's put that long. Scarlets leading Edinburgh by 23 points to 16 at the interval. Edinburgh led initially, but Scarlets have come back. And Treviso are leading Munster by 7 points to 5 at half-time, which would not be a good result if it stays like that for Anthony Foley's side. No score here in Cardiff. Matthew Rees, who played 170 times for the Scarlets. A little bit of width there. This is Summerhill, gets over halfway. Good strong run. Trey Gilroy had to make the tackle. Tomas Williams, Patchell has a go himself. Bossawai, well taken down by his opposite number, Nick Williams. Patchell again has got back into that position very well. This is the former All Black, Jared Hoiata, the 33-year-old from New Zealand. Williams, Patchell, all a wee bit flat. Fish may be forced to kick, but he's decided to shift it. Here comes Summerhill. Nick Williams has got across well, likewise Chris Henry. The referee's going to come back to give the penalty against Ulster.
Offside, I think, in the midfield.
Yep.
I think it was Nick Williams who jumped the gun a bit when the ball came back out of that ruck, and the ball was out, but you know, the referee is always going to watch for that, somebody being out of the line, and Nick was out of the line.
Let's go 10, please.
It's a wee bit outside the range of Rhys Patchell. He actually took an extra 2 or 3 meters out of it before he kicked the ball, but he's found a very good touch in the far side, and I'm surprised John Lacey didn't pick him up on that. He placed the ball, or he held the ball exactly where the penalty was given, and then he ran 3 meters before he kicked it.
Most kickers do that in their sleeve, see if they can get away with it. John Lacey did his back turn, I think, so he knew it was definitely on.
Neil Doak doing a little bit of chatting for our colleagues in S4C over here in Wales. I'm not sure how his Welsh is. This is Matthew Rees. Yesterday the challenge. That's a good ball once again by Cardiff. Tom James coming in off his left wing. He's posed Ulster all sorts of problems in the past. Had a little spell of rugby in England, and then came back to his native Cardiff. Well done by Callum Black, who's got through well. Big strong tackling once again by Ulster, by Nick Williams yet again, but back in the Cardiff side. Patchell. Ray Lilo, the 30-year-old Samoan. And here's the Australian now, 32 years of age, Selesi Mafu. Josh Turnbull. Cardiff pressing, looking to try to squeeze another penalty perhaps out of John Lacey. Patchell, flat ball, Vossawai spilled it forward. Advantage to Ulster to get it away to Stuart Olding, who's wellied it.
No advantage.
I think he kicked that into touch from just outside and no more.
No, I think it was taken back. He took the pass back in and then he kicked the touch, but
they'll go back for the original infringement.
Yeah, knock on. So I think no loss there.
Ulster's tackling has been pretty good, Eddie, hasn't it?
Well, the defence has been good. I mean, I think we looked a bit skinny on the outside channels, but we've adjusted again. And you see Cardiff going through the phases, a lot of bluster, but going nowhere in a hurry. And Ulster holding the line well. But I suppose all it takes is somebody to make a mistake, like we saw against Llanelli, come out of the line or slip off a tackle, and you're in trouble. But today Ulster have defended well. They've held the line. They've got a good balance, and they're making Cardiff work hard for it.
Chris Henry was the man getting a little bit of attention. John Lacey telling the water carriers, there seems to be more of them than players, to leave the field immediately. Scrum to Ulster, and if my calculations right, it's the first put into the Ulster scrum. We've played nearly 23 minutes and still nothing happening. What a wonderful win for Connacht last night in Galway to give them 11 wins, which is the most they've ever had in any league season, and there's still quite a few games to go. So Pat Lam doing a wonderful job way out west, as they say. With the ball is Ruan Pienaar, who seems to have recovered from a little virus bug that's actually affected his normal number 2, Paul Marshall, who had to cry off the replacements bench. Here goes Pienaar, little sortie on his own. Jackson well away to Darren Cave, wrapped up by Ray Lilo. Pienaar again looking for a runner. Chris Henry runs into Vossawai and Turnbull, but he has made it available. Pienaar thinking about the kick and puts the kick in, giving it plenty of height, but Dan Fish is well positioned and he's quick off the mark and just held on to by big Peter Brown. Tomas Williams. Pacho gets it away. That was a bit fortunate. And here goes Jared Hoyata. And Cardiff on the front foot yet again. Williams, Pacho. Taken by Dan Fish. There are men out. Ellis Jenkins. Ulster in quickly, still there for Josh Turnbull. What a good covering tackle by Peter Brown once again. Williams again. This is better stuff from the Blues. Oh, lovely little pass there. Ray Lilo tries to do a bit of a hitch kick. Dan Fish fumbles. Back to Pacho. Cardiff making life unnecessarily difficult for themselves. They seem to have loads of men over on the far side, and Ulster throwing themselves into tackles with gusto. Here's Williams, the scrum half, a wee slip. Tackle by Franco van der Merwe. Hoyata again. He's been busy. Williams, Pacho. Lilo steps back inside. Darren Cave grabs him by the ankle. Williams, Josh Turnbull. Thumped by Nick Williams, who's tried to turn him over. Thomas Williams. Dan Fish sells a nice dummy, and Sam Arnold, Munster bound next season, makes the tackle. Tomas Williams, Patchell again, trying to get Hoyata through the gap, and that was knocked forward, and Ulster will be pretty happy about getting the scrummage at it. And again, Ulster's defence well organised.
Well, yeah, after the initial break, where again they got caught narrow, and Cardiff got around the corner. You can see it coming up here. They were in trouble at this point, but they recovered really well. I mean, that initial tackle goes in just outside the 22, and after a much toing and froing, Ulster had pretty much controlled the situation. A lot of hard work though, a lot of unnecessary hard work. If you can hold the line further out, it's much easier, but you got to give credit where credit is due. It was a good recovery, and eventually Cardiff just coughed up the ball in contact.
I'm astounded that every time there's a stop and play, there seems to be about half a dozen fellas in orange bibs coming on and distributing water.
I can't imagine why. I doubt there's much a risk of dehydration today with the temperature.
Well, I don't know about you, Edward, but I'm freezing.
Exactly. So I'm sure they're just passing information more than water, probably, Jim.
Yes. Almost 26 minutes played, still no score here. It's a to and fro game. The first 10 minutes or so it was all Cardiff in terms of territory. Then Ulster's turn, both sides missed with penalties. Patchell for Cardiff and Jackson for Ulster, and now it's Cardiff on the offensive, but it's an Ulster scrummage. And they dug in and got the last one away reasonably cleanly. And they're not really poised to clear, because Paddy Jackson, as you can see, his legs there is way out to the other side of the Ulster scrum. Down it goes, and John Lacey has accepted that's a slip and will ask to do it again.
Well, there's not too many slips on the surface, Jim, because the one thing doesn't happen is you don't slip, and which is often leads to injuries. But I think you know, they need to keep this up, because if they go down again, it'll be a soft 3 points. And Lacey's doing a lot of talking. But one of the problems with John Lacey, he's a very good referee, but he tends to hold the forwards a long time in the set position. And you've got 16 big men ready to spring on from a coil position. He's very slow.
Here they go again.
Bind.
Well, that is very slow. Good call, Ed. Good strike by John Andrew. That's a better Ulster scrum. They go down on one knee, though. Ooh. They need just to watch themselves, because if you go down on a knee, it's deemed to be a penalty. Now, my scrummaging friends who know an awful lot about this thing said the one thing about this particular surface is it's great if you can actually get the grip, but if you take your foot off and try to readjust, then you tend to slide a little bit.
You can't slide in it because it's mainly plastic, really. But at the same time here, I mean, I was sure there was a penalty coming there. No, to be honest, I had no idea which way it was coming. But to be fair to Lacey, he wasn't sure, so he reset the scrum. It is pretty boring to watch, but I suppose he's not prepared to guess, which occasionally some referees do.
And Pienaar has a little glance over the left shoulder just to see if the Cardiff defence has advanced any. Certainly from this position, Ulster seem to be poised to attack, and penalty against the Cardiff front row.
Well, it was penalty definitely coming there once it went down, and it's hard to see what from where we are, Jim. But
yeah, Matthew Rees is just questioning John Lacey's decision, but the former Munster wing three-quarter, and he could scamper a wee bit himself, is not taking any old nonsense.
Matthew Rees, as a hooker, is obliged to question the referee after every penalty at the scrum.
What a kick by Paddy Jackson, even allowing for the wind. And Paddy Jackson has not just relieved the pressure on Ulster, but has put Ulster in a very good attacking position. This is a good field position for the men in white, who desperately, desperately need to win this game.
Well, it's a great opportunity, Jim, because the game has really gone from penalty to scrum to penalty, and there's no real momentum in it, and defences have been dominant, which is fair enough, but it's an opportunity for Ulster now to maybe come before our time of the score.
Well taken in by Peter Brown, down to Chris Henry. That's a well executed technical line out, but Cardiff have held up the drive. John Andrews in there as well. Back to Robbie Dyack, is going to come to the open side himself, and then we'll try to straighten. Pienaar, Darren Cave gets across the 22. Quicker ball now for Ulster. There are not a lot of people out here. Paddy Jackson puts a little chip in, and Jacob Stockdale, all 6'3" of them, couldn't quite get to it. Dan Fish has got it away, and Pienaar covers. Craig Gilroy with Stuart Olding outside him, and Darren Cave outside him. Here's Gilroy, has a little cut himself. Awful pass by Gilroy, set up Olding for a walloping tackle by Tom James, but Pienaar's got it. Nick Williams on the far side has a surge himself, back inside to Darren Cave. Good little switch now by Ulster. This is a lot better by the men in white. Nick Williams at scrum half, Chris Henry at outside half. Then he straightens, needs to release.
I think that was 15 away.
Dan Fish told to get away. Nick Williams again at scrum half. Sammy Arnold playing at inside centre for the very first time. Jackson has a wee dance. Again, Ulster winning the ball. Callum Black. Hoyata took him down, but Black had got the shoulder round, and had he made it available, doesn't matter. Cardiff hands in there, and Ulster get the penalty directly in front of the post, and the best passage of play for the visitors so far.
Has been, Jim. Good continuity, held onto the ball well, had some good gain lines, and it really came from broken play situation. You know, a bad decision by Gilroy to pass the ball, but from the ensuing ruck, Jim Williams made a brilliant break down the short side and a fantastic pass inside, and Ulster were over the gain line and away. And that's Jim Williams here. Great.
You're going back to your Munster days, Jim Williams.
Oh, sorry,
it's
Williams.
Big Nick.
So, thank you for the correction.
That's all right. That's all right.
But yeah, great pass.
He was the guy that started the whole thing off. He was the first really serious Southern Hemisphere import. What a player he was. Nice guy too. Paddy Jackson, a nice guy that he is, but more importantly, it's a nice kick for Ulster. And we have played coming up to 32 minutes, and we've got the first point. It's Cardiff Blues 0 and Ulster 3.
Yep, I suppose to be fair, Ulster hadn't had too many opportunities, but they certainly took that one. And to be fair, Cardiff had some possession, but haven't been able to break Ulster down. So you've got to think in their heads, they're going to start to wonder now what they need to do. And that dominance they were hoping for early in the scrum hasn't really materialised. So maybe a change in game plan for Cardiff now.
Well, it's the first time this Ulster front row have played together. Reece Patchell, that's a delicate little kick. Who's underneath it? The answer is Robbie Dyack. He's got a little bit of help. Good challenging there by Blaine Scully. Born in Sacramento, California some 27 years ago. US Eagle.
What's that, Brian?
Paddy Jackson directly behind his scrum half row, and Peter Ulster still moving forward. Well, this is interesting. Jackson inside his 22 from the pass, and he's given that another big thump, and well covered by Fish. Patchell, flat pass. Stuart Olding's underneath this one. Well taken by Patchell, but he's nudged it forward. Well tidied up by Darren Cave. The initial knock forward by Patchell is going to mean an Ulster scrum.
Just when we thought the game was going to maybe liven up a wee bit, knock on, but Patchell had that ball in his hands, but great contest. And Stuart Olding and spilled the ball quite legally. Both players contested the ball in the air.
Well, did Patchell actually knock it forward?
I think he had it on his arm when he collided, so I think it was tight enough. But I think Ulster will take the scrum here, and
every day of the week they'll take it.
Jim Williams, I said again. Nick Williams looks a bit shook up there. He seems okay again. He'd be a big loss if he went off now. He's
Absolutely.
been really making such good yardage all the time.
Have the ever reliable Roger Wilson on the bench. Now you've got me at it. Yeah.
Bind.
The crowd giving John Lacey the bird there.
Again, if you listen to the cadence of his engagement, it's very slow. It's very hard on the players. I don't think he needs that, and I think that sometimes leads to the problems that he's. And it was a similar in his last international. Very slow cadence and tough on the players.
Hold your balance now, both of you guys.
Well, he's telling the front rows just to hold their balance, particularly the men on the far side of us. Bronson Ross and the youngster Brad Tyler.
Bind. Set.
Now Mr. Pienaar, get it in. And he does. Squeezed by Cardiff. Nick Williams is going to have to be careful. He's got away. Good bit of running. Good up one-handed offload to Chris Henry, who's over the halfway line. Pienaar running wide and deciding to go for position. And what a good kick that is. Even Tom James couldn't do anything about that. Nice to see Tom James back involved with the World Six Nations after a long gap. Got his first game against England 9 years ago.
A very smart play by Ron Pienaar there. He ran with the ball. Tom James came up thinking the ball was going wide, and before he knew it, the ball was in behind him. Played like an old professional there, an old professional ahead, knowing exactly what was needed. Yeah,
when you played nearly 90 times the Springboks, you have been around a corner or two. Cardiff's throw to a shortened line out, taken nicely by James Dunn. Vossawai. Nick Williams has got to get himself out of the way, and Cardiff give away another penalty. And again, unnecessary. Just holding on in the tackle. Leinster are away to decide that Ulster have to play home and away. They're away to Zebra, and they're 5 points up, the latest we've got for you. And Treviso are leading Munster by 7 points to 5, and that would be a bit of an upset if Treviso can hang on to win that one. It would maybe put play to Ulster's or Munster's European hopes for next year, but we'll have to wait and see.
Great penalty one again.
Edinburgh 19, Scarlets 23. I think Ulster would probably like Edinburgh to win that one, but more importantly, they want to win this one here, and Paddy Jackson can help them if he gets the second penalty. And he has done, no mistake from Ulster's outside half and skipper for the second week in a row. So as we approach half-time, Ulster have gone from level pegging to 6-0 up.
Yeah, I think Ulster will be happy with that, Jim, on the balance of it. They've had a fair bit of time on defence, but they've had 2 sorties now into Cardiff territory, and it's resulted in 6 points.
We're being asked, would we like a cup of tea at half-time, and the answer is absolutely. And if we weren't working a wee bit of something in it. Knocked forward by Ulster, gathered in by Cardiff, and the referee says no. The initial knock forward, I think, was Ulster's.
Scrum, it's an accidental.
Oh, it's not actually. It's going to be an Ulster scrum. There might have been an accidental offside there involving the Cardiff flanker Ellis Jenkins. Well, this is supposed to be the last weekend of winter, Eddie, and from the start of this coming week, it's supposed to be spring. But it's a bit unspring-like here in the capital of the Principality, although it is dry, fortunately. Now, Ulster need just to hang on and see out this half and turn round 6 points to 0 up if they can. Cardiff will put everything into this scrum, being one of the final set pieces of the first half. Good strike by Andrew. There's a big squeeze by Cardiff, and Pienaar gets it away. And Stuart Olding has to run outside his 22. Fish. Well, that was unfortunate for Dan Fish. Little dummy. He's got outside Nick Williams. He's got inside Craig Gilroy. Not great Ulster tackling by Gilroy and Bronson Ross. In fact, it was Jacob Stockdale. Apologies to Craig Gilroy. Here's Patchell. Little flat ball to Hoyata. Tackled by his opposite number, Peter Brown. The ball has gone loose. Can Darren Cave capitalise it? But the Samoan, Ray Lilo, scoops it up. 2 minutes remaining. Sammy Arnold coming through, and coming through illegally.
Unnecessary penalty, Jim. You know, slow ball inside the Cardiff half. Now he gives Cardiff a chance. Just come to half time, take a good field position in the Ulster, close to the Ulster 22. Not the smartest play.
No, Ulster's play in general in the last week or two has maybe just lacked a little bit of finesse. Here's the Fish.
Deceptive runner, very deceptive runner. You got to be. He looks like you've got him, and suddenly he glides away.
Well, he saw the mismatch. He knew that he was always going to have the legs on Nick Williams. Once he got round Nick Williams, he was able to step inside Jacob Stockdale, and it was Chris Henry who eventually brought him down. Now, we thought that last scrum might have been the last set piece of this first half, but here's a line out, and it's a Cardiff line out, and here's Matthew Rees. Bit of a dummy there by Rees, which you're not allowed to do. Free kick, well, he should know that. He's been around forever. He's 35 years of age. He's played 60 times for Wales. He's played in the World Cup. He's been a Lion and a Test Lion, and he did one of those little silly things that you shouldn't do. You're not allowed to dummy the throw. And John, it was only a little one. Darts players do it all the time, but they can get away with it.
I think there might have been some confusion on the lift, and he went early and then he'd come pull back.
Well, Paddy Jackson has put that high up in the air for, of course, it was a free kick, so he couldn't kick directly into touch, otherwise it would have been a Cardiff ball. So Paddy Jackson did, as it turned out, the right thing. Good tackle by Robbie Dyack on Bossawai, the Italian, born in Suva in Fiji. Cardiff still motoring forward. We are almost up to the end of the first 40 minutes. Patchell moves it wide. Ellis Jenkins, Patchell again. Good stuff from Cardiff. Lelo tries to get it away. Did it go forward? Not so. Cardiff still in possession. Now we have played 40 minutes. Hoyata sweeps it away to Fish. There are men out wide, but they go close. Taken on by James Down, the second row.
Balls available.
Tomas Williams, Bossawai again. Again, coming up against a solid-looking Ulster defence. Williams on the narrow side. Here's Turnbull. Tries to hand off John Andrew, who sticks to him like a limpet. Tomas Williams. Matthew Rees. And Ulster give away the penalty, and it's very kickable. Dear, oh dear.
Again, the line was good. The shape was good, but I think it was behind, in front of the back foot again, or the hindmost foot. Practice sizing this up. He's going to go for it. Yeah,
you know, when you're 6-0 up with 2 or 3 minutes to go, the last thing you want to be doing is making mistakes. You've got to play a percentage game, whether you like it or not. That's what's required, and Ulster just weren't able to do that. Just looking again at that ball actually went back and nobody touched it, so the decision was absolutely right.
But again, situation is very simple, as you say. Just play out the half. And instead, Ulster have given up 2 penalties on the bounce, because Cardiff didn't look like they were going anywhere, just to hold their line, but 2 penalties on the bounce, and now Cardiff have a chance to claw their way back into the game.
Well, this will be the last bit of play of this first half. Hasn't exactly set the world alight, but here's Patchell to claw back 3 points, and he's done just that, and that was 3 very unnecessary points conceded by Ulster, but they'll not be too displeased, Eddie, by trailing by just 3 points.
Yeah, I think they'll be a bit upset with themselves at the very end, giving away that soft penalty, but all in all, I think they'll take the lead in at half-time. But with limited opportunities, they've probably made the most of what they've had.
Well, not a game to inspire by any stretch of the imagination. Tao Felice he's pushing 40 years of age, well, nearly 39, which is not too far away, has come on to play tight head for Salesi Mafau, the Australian. So it's a Tongan for an Australian. Ricky Lutton, who signed a 1-year extension to his contract, was on. Here goes Craig Gilroy straight away. Pinar, Robbie Dyack, little change of direction. Just outside the 22, so Pinar will try to kick it down the tram lines for Gilroy to chase, and he does just that. Dan Fish waits and jumps. Gilroy challenges, and Fish has done really well. Wrapped up by Nick Williams on the deck. Tomas Williams. Interchange there of ideas between Craig Gilroy and Jared Hoeata. Here's Vasawai. Ricky Lutton doesn't quite manage to hang on to him. Williams gets it away. Cardiff on the front foot, which is where they want to be. Dyack had to tackle the Cardiff skipper Matthew Rees. Cave gets in, but again the tackle is just not quite conclusive. Ray Leo got away from him, and again Cardiff making ground, and Ulster counter-rucking. Back on the Blues side. There's Felice, this enormous fellow. He's now 38 years of age, 17 caps for Tonga. Pinar with a tackle. Tomas Williams, who's played pretty well. Felice again. Tom James gets it away. Rees in the middle of the park. Slips it to Tom James. And there's a penalty against Ulster. So they ended the first half with a penalty against them unnecessarily. Offside. And they've done it again for offside. And these are just little bits of careless action.
Well, just when I thought we were going to get a bit of rugby, Jim, game is stopped by penalty. And you know, I mean, again, Ulster's defensive shape is good. They're not under any pressure. There's no need for these careless penalties. And Pratchett fancies it with the wind at his back, and it's a long way. It's close to 50 metres, but just again a careless penalty. You know, bringing Cardiff into the game. Well,
the first attempted points of the first half went the way of the red-haired Cardiff outside half. He can take away at home at fullback, and he missed, but he was kicking into the wind. This time it's much further out, but he's got a fairly stiffish breeze behind him, and he's not wasting any time. He wants to get on with this. I think he quite fancies this one, and this would pull it back to level pegging. Ulster having been 6-0 up just as half-time approached. Could they be pulled back to 6 apiece? That might just carry. That's a corking kick from Reece Patchell, and the crowd, such as they are here this afternoon, have really got behind their side. And you know, I know it's an old adage in rugby, or cliche, call it what you will, Eddie, but the times to score are just before and just after the interval, and Cardiff have done just that.
Yeah, well, the frustrating part to me is there were 2 gifts from Ulster, completely unnecessary.
Paddy Jackson gives it a bit of height. Somebody needs to jump and challenge, and nobody did jump and challenge. All too easy for Cardiff. Patchell took it back inside his 22. Well covered by Jackson, his opposite number, as Jacob Stockdale looping round. And again, it's a kick. Patchell covers well, looks to bring it inside. Sam Arnold gets him. Stockdale is off his wing, so Cave has to oblige him. They've spotted that, Cardiff. Cleverly read by Cardiff, and here they go again. This is Blaine Scully, who can scamper a bit, the American. Williams, Cardiff on the front foot. Fished it outside half. Ellis Jenkins. Good covering tackle by John Andrew, Ulster's hooker. Hoeata. Tom James with a sidestep. Chris Henry with the tackle. Josh Turnbull, who's probably been the busiest forward in the park. Williams again. Hoeata, little pop pass up to Alan Summerhill. Williams fished it outside half, very nearly got through. It was Andrew made the tackle again. Thomas Williams pops it up, interception by Franco van der Merwe. I don't think he's got the pace to go the distance. Here goes Ruan Pienaar inside to his fellow South African Robbie Dyack. Referee's got the hand out for a penalty to Ulster, and Pienaar takes it quickly. Now he needs to get it away. Here's Sam Arnold. I was about to say good pass, but it wasn't a good pass, but Gilroy did well. Still there with Ulster, but it's all slowed down. Now Jackson. Van der Merwe, the man who made the intercept. Matthew Rees with the tackle for Cardiff. Williams gets it away. Flat to Robbie Dyack, and the Cardiff defence up very flat. So all the zip has gone out of Ulster's forward momentum. Here comes Callum Black. Jared Hoyata takes the loose head prop to the ground. Pienaar, Jackson, inside to Sam Arnold. Sam Arnold's got away, good work by Arnold, needs to give it, gets it to Gilroy. First try of the game and 6th try of the season in the league for Craig Gilroy. And Sammy Arnold has done really well to set up his winger. What a corking try, and just the response that this Ulster team needed.
Yeah, they've taken full advantage of that intercept, Jim. It took a while, as I said, the Fizz went out of the attack, but they kept their patience, and Sammy Arnold just barreled over one of the Cardiff defenders, and here we come. Great ball carrying.
Just 19 years of age and very strong, and he had to time the pass, Eddie, and he did time it.
Oh, it's perfect rugby. I mean, ran over his opposite number, drew the full back, bumped the scrum half out of the way, and drew the full back. Perfect pass to one of the best finishers in the game at the moment. Never in doubt.
And Gilroy did the right thing and ran round behind the posts. So it's Paddy Jackson. There's a last little glance at the posts and glides it very nicely between those posts, and all of a sudden a gap of 7 points has opened up. We have played 6.5 minutes in the first half, and Ulster leading, and Sammy Arnold showed them all a clean pair of heels, and what a nice crisp try-scoring pass that was.
Yeah, indeed it was, Jim, and that's a big blow to Cardiff. They didn't see this coming, they weren't comfortable in their own skin in the Ulster half, and suddenly turn over the ball, and they've been fully punished by 7 points.
It's a clever kick by Patchett at the restart, and Ulster need to be careful. Gathered in by Darren Cave. Has to present it. Nick Williams trying to make a little bit of ground to bring the ball in field. Pienaar decides to have a pop himself. He's given that a lot of height. Fish is very well positioned. Nicely taken by Fish, and there's that little dummy. He loves to do that. Thomas Williams, Patchell. Vossawai gets over halfway. What a battle between himself and Nick Williams. Tom James, great tackle by Gilroy, but great presentation by James, and Peter Brown is in there, and he's done well. He was on his feet, taking the whole weight, and Tom James didn't release the ball, and that's a great piece of work at the breakdown by Ulster's second row.
That's his 3rd penalty this game, his 3rd turnover, and it's great. It's great to have your back rows and maybe your centres and that. When you got your second rows in on top of those, it's a huge bonus.
Well, the big fella who had spells with the Newcastle Falcons and with London Welsh and the Harlequins in London has done well. Paddy Jackson hasn't made a lot of ground. There was that initial terrific tackle by Gilroy, and look at Peter Brown. That's textbook stuff at the breakdown, and Williams forced to hang on because he didn't really have much in the way of support. And Ulster have made another change, and Callum Black has gone off, and Kyle McCall, the loose head prop wearing number 17, has come on. Andrew.
Outside.
Great take by Robbie Dyack, and he's made a little bit of ground, just catching Cardiff a little bit flat-footed there. But it's slow. Andrew. Nick Williams out wide. Van der Merwe takes it forward. Ulster pressing. Pienaar to the near side. Here's Jackson. Back inside to Sam Arnold. Pienaar again. Jackson. Darren Cave. Good strike by the Irish international. Again it's Pienaar, and again it's Van der Merwe. Two Springboks working well together.
He's there. there.
Now Williams looking for the ball. There he goes. Got it away to Kyle McCall. Was it forward? No, and McCall's wriggled and presented it nicely. Jackson looking for a wee bit of width on it. In comes Stuart Olding. First time just about he's had the ball in hand for broken play. Pinar again. Better stuff this from Ulster. McCall. Good pass. Cave wide to Gilroy. Better work now by Ulster on the front foot. John Lacey having a good look at that breakdown area, and he's penalised Ulster this time.
Point from the floor.
Ball was being played by a man who was on the floor. Once you're on the floor, you can't touch the ball at all.
Absolutely, you're out of the game once you're on the floor. But unfortunately, because Ulster have got a bit of the wind in their sails at the moment, Jim. You know, the last 5 minutes they've really built on the try and keeping the pressure on Cardiff, and unfortunately turned it over. But I don't see Cardiff getting on their half on this one. So Ulster need to just hold their nerve and not give away soft penalties. Keep the pressure on Cardiff, because they're in a driving seat at the moment in terms of the momentum of the game.
Well, the ball was presented and it was released, and somebody on the ground who hadn't been involved actually touched the ball, and that brought the penalty. Cardiff still inside their own half, but they have possession. Turnbull challenged a little bit by Ulster. Howiata has to tidy up, and away comes Vossawai. Gets no change out of John Andrew, who puts him to ground. Thomas Williams. Turnbull. Well held up by Franco van der Merwe. That's good work by the South African second row.
Lost in the line out first. No advantage. Scrum.
Ulster just nudged the ball forward at the Cardiff line out, so John Lacey had played advantage to Cardiff, and because no advantage came, they'll come back for the scrummage 15 metres in from the near touchline. 10 minutes of the second half gone. Having been 6-0 up, Ulster saw themselves pegged back to 6 apiece, but that splendid try by Craig Gilroy after a mesmeric little break by Sammy Arnold, and the conversion by Jackson has given Ulster a 7-point lead.
Crouch!
First scrum of the second half, Ulster with 2 fresh props on.
Bind!
Ricky Lutton on the near side for Ulster. Again, John Lacey very slow with that, isn't he?
Both you're not balanced, you're binding early and you're going in as well. Okay?
I think they're binding early because they're expecting to go. I think he could speed this up without any fear of having a problem, but it's his MO, slow engagement.
It's a very Irish thing, a slow engagement, isn't it?
No comment.
Crouch!
Thomas Williams.
Set.
Deary me. In it goes. Good solid looking Cardiff scrum in their own put in, and they get the secondary shove on. That's good work by the Cardiff forwards, and that's going to bring a penalty. Well, Ulster's scrum has got no better with the introduction of 2 fresh props, and Cardiff have worked very cleverly there, Eddie. They've held the ball, and just when Ulster think that they're going to play it, they've maybe relaxed, and Cardiff have kept the squeeze on.
That's right, they go for the secondary drive, and then once they start to build the wheel, then they square up again and go a second time, and there's no option for the referee but to give a penalty.
Well, Ulster gave away a penalty at the breakdown. They've given away a penalty at the set piece, and Patchell, having made a bit of ground, is going to make even more and put Cardiff into a very good attacking position. So once again, errors costing Ulster in terms of possession and territory.
I know we're only 12 minutes into the second half, Jim, but again, you know, Cardiff score here, it's got game on again. If Ulster can hold them out and get back down there, a chance of maybe making a 2-score game could be all the difference at the end of the day.
Matthew Rees, Cardiff's veteran skipper, well taken at the front by James Down. Down comes John Andrew. Is he offside? Not so. That's good defence. Knocked backward, and here come Ulster. Here's Robbie Dyack. Oh, that's well down by Tom James, but Dyack has him. And James has managed to squeeze it back quite legally, it would seem. Tomas Williams looking for Vossawai to take it on, and the big fella does just that up to halfway. Nick Williams then there. Has he gone over it? No, he hasn't, but it's back in the Cardiff side. Ellis Jenkins, tackled by Ricky Lutton. Williams looking for someone to kick. He finds Dan Fish. Not where Dan Fish wanted the ball to go. Knocked forward, Pinar. Oh, what a pass by Pinar. Stuart Olding has a dart himself. And again, good run by Stuart Olding. Knocked to the ground by by Turnbull, but Ulster still driving forward. And how did they manage to lose that? Patchell. Well, he had men outside him, but he went for the kick. I don't think it's going to go all the way. Paddy Jackson will wait and take his time. He's got Stockdale with him, but decides to put boot to ball. Doesn't find his touch. Sammy Arnold just told to stay, hold his ground. Ray Lilo. Oh, he's got right through. Poor Ulster defending. Once again, it's front row forwards, not doing the job at close range. Fish again, great chance now for Cardiff. And they've given that away to Stockdale. Chris Henry takes it away. He's nailed by Tom James. Well, the game is certainly livening up. The skill set's not wonderful.
Advantage over.
Craig Gilroy decides to give it a welly because he saw there was a huge space. Now here comes Gilroy, and across comes Scully. Irish international against American international. Scully wins the battle at the breakdown. Vossawai taken by Ricky Lutton, who I think might just have hurt himself. I think he's done something to his left wrist. More of that in a second. Paddy Jackson. Stuart Olding outside him. Not the greatest pass in the world. Jacob Stockdale, nice little check by Stockdale. Strong enough, the 19-year-old, to set it up nicely. Chip and chase by Paddy Jackson. Has he got the pace? He doesn't quite. Well, Ulster coming back. Well, the game's livened up a little bit, Eddie, hasn't it?
The balls and play a lot more. Still looks scrappy at times. They got turnover, but with at least some entertainment. Surprised there, Paddy Jackson went for the chip. He may have been better to hold and keep it in hand. But I think the first burst of energy players are only getting their second wind at this stage of the game, which is normally after 10 minutes of the first half or 10 minutes into the second half.
Sean Reedy, who signed a 2-year contract extension, is coming on for Ulster. There was that nice little bit of footwork by Ray Lilo. Came off the left and then came off the right and did it again, and slipped just before Paddy Jackson got to him. I think it's going to be a blood replacement because Chris Henry is going off the field holding his head as we look once again at Ray Lilo's nice little bit of fancy footwork. Well, there's a lot of the old claret, as they say in boxing parlance, coming out of Chris Henry's head. Patchell's given it a big thump. Olding, nice to see him getting much more involved. Left-footed from Olding. That's a good kick for Stockdale to chase. Patchell jumps. Stockdale waits. Patchell gets away. Williams. Matthew Rees. Well, seemed to lead with the elbow a little bit, but yeah, John Lacey happy enough for that. Change of direction by Williams. Ellis Jenkins gets it away. Big tackle. Scully. Not much room for him to move in. Ulster tried to turn that one over, but the Blues have it again. And it was a knock forward anyway by Ulster. Rees at outside half. Taken on by Down. All the way through comes Robbie Dyack. Tomas Williams has a little go himself and gets tackled by Ruan Pinar. Nearly 17 minutes played in the second half. Well, it is a scrappy game. Dyer takes it on the Cardiff loose head. Tomas Williams to kick, it will seem. Put a wee bit too much in that. Well taken in by Olding. Jackson. Gilroy gets away from one and gets away from another, but eventually gets himself caught. Pinar employs the narrow side to Kyle McCall. Good presentation by the young prop. Robbie Dyack. Also just need to be patient. Pinar. Stockdale is after that one. Oh, Patchell took it magnificently. Vossawai into Sean Reedy. John Lacey having a good look at them. Tyre picks it up again, the loose head. Williams. Turnbull. Into Peter Brown and Robbie Dyack. Have they held him up? Reedy comes through, referee's happy with that, and he's still happy with what Ulster are doing at the breakdown. And they're making life tough for the Cardiff Blues. Now they have it, the Blues. Patchell. Straight into the arms of Craig Gilroy, who will just take his time. That's all Ulster have to do. Almost at the end of the third quarter, Eddie. It's a converted try between them.
Yeah, well, Gilroy read that really well. He's up on the line, you know, covering the defence, and then he knew that the attack had stalled out. And Patchell had only one option, that was to kick long, and he was right in position to collect it.
Good kick taken quickly by Dan Fish to his outside half, Reese Patchell, who will run, gets past Gilroy. Poor tackle by Gilroy. Patchell gets it away to Fish. Fish for the corner. Stuart Olding. What a tackle by Olding. Paddy Jackson gets carried over the line, I think, but it's gone into touch as opposed to over the line. It's going to be a Cardiff line out. What a covering tackle that was, but what a break by Reese Patchell.
Yeah, it was one of those breaks where you thought it was a 7-pointer, but fantastic covering tackle. Saved the day. I mean, here we go again. It's a great time. Just passed brilliantly, and Fish has got a lot of pace, but that was a brilliant covering tackle by Stuart Olding. Paddy Jackson tidies it up, but Ulster are still under cosh here, but a lot better than it could have been.
Well, Paddy Jackson came back in field and was dragged into touch, and I suppose a defensive line out is better than an attacking scrum.
Yes, yeah, I think it is. Certainly when the last scrum, Cardiff seemed to have the nudge in the front row.
Jared Evans has come on for Cardiff, and he's going to go to outside half with Patchell going to fullback. Now Matthew Rees, good take by Cardiff. They will get the drive on from here. Ulster have got to be careful. That's good work by Robbie Dyack. He stopped Vossawai from making any decent ground, but the Blues are coming back again strongly. Tomas Williams couldn't quite get it away cleanly. Here's Turnbull, has to go to ground. Ray Lilo right underneath the Ulster post. That was a nice quick pass. Williams again. Cardiff trying to maybe outflank Ulster, but they drive forward through Vossawai. Good work by John Andrew and Reedy at the breakdown. Cardiff have men outside. Patchell, who's been strong, and great tackling there by Darren Cave, equally strong. Tomas Williams. Falacy, the veteran. Kyle McCall trying to stay on his feet. Nicely taken. Jared Evans gets it away to Vossawai, who's held up by Peter Brown. Not the first time the big fella's done that. That's great work by Peter Brown at the breakdown. Terrific bit of defending by Ulster.
Excellent tackling by Ulster, but in particular Peter Brown. That's his 4th turnover today, and there have been big turnovers. That's a huge... When you see Cardiff had really sensed blood in the water there, they were really going after it. They probably went wide a bit early because they didn't have an overlap. Again, great defence by Darren Cave on the outside channels. When they came back, they were made head on again by the Ulster defence.
Well, once again, a whole raft of water carriers coming on, and some of them are actually giving some water to the Ulster team. We're into the last quarter of this game, Eddie. It's tantalisingly poised. Neil Duke once again being quizzed by our host broadcaster, S4C. Has he been attending a Welsh language class or two in his spare time? I doubt it somehow.
I'm sure it's the last thing he needs. The coach is an interview in the middle of the game, but yeah, it's probably more of a nuisance to him. But anyway, he has to do that job. But
were you ever approached when you're in charge of Ireland by somebody with a microphone saying, "Well, Eddie, what do you think? You're 15 points to 0 down"?
No, thankfully not. No, it's tough on the coaches because you're so engrossed in the game, and then you've got to suddenly take time out and talk about what's going on. But and then again, you know, you can't say too much, you know, because you're probably giving information away. But it's the way the game has progressed, I suppose, from the media point of view. But I think it's one of those things that coaches could probably do without if they could get away with it.
Interesting. Franco van der Merwe, Ulster's second row forward, seemed to have slipped a big bag of ice up inside his jersey. If my Welsh is good, I'm seeing on a caption somewhere that Edinburgh leading the Scarlets by 24 points to 23, which mightn't be a bad result for Ulster if it's to stay like that. But Ulster have got to get the job done here. 21 minutes played in the second half. Ulster scrum. Last one didn't go so well. Williams picks it up and gets it away. Oh, he's given it away. Catastrophe for Ulster. Tom James, again a great tackle, this time from Craig Gilroy. What was Nick Williams doing? Ulster tried to get the ball into touch, and they have done. And that really could have sold the ranch for Ulster. My word, what an escape.
Yeah, that was living dangerously, so to speak. I think Nick Williams did really, really well to pick the ball going backwards in the scrum. And he probably should have held on and just drove on, and Ulster cleared the lines and be offloaded straight to a Cardiff player. But they've survived again. It recovered after the mistake, and it's an Ulster line-out. So another chance to exit.
Another Welsh international, Josh Navidi, has come on for the home side. Interesting to see who moves into number 8. He may well play number 8 himself, because the man he's replacing, Manoa Vasawai, has been playing number 8. Great take at the front by Peter Brown. He's had a terrific game in every aspect for Ulster. Perhaps the scrummaging just not going according to plan. Ruan Pienaar trying to get the ball onto the right foot. Well, he's kept that infield. Tom James is underneath it. He's got Patchell with him, but James may have a go himself. Oh, right through. Awful tackling once again. Nick Williams being very slow. Here's Patchell. Pienaar has to make the tackle. Ulster not closing their men down at all. Very slipshod. Oh, little dummy by Jared Evans, the replacement. Nice presentation. Tomas Williams, Navidi just on the field. Looked like a high tackle from Ulster. Referee says he's happy enough. Matthew Rees, the skipper, going for glory for Cardiff. Picked up by Blaine Scully, the American. Cardiff within touching distance of the Ulster line. This could change the whole complexion of this game. Cardiff now on the front foot. Matthew Rees has another go himself. There wasn't much in the way of options out to the near side. Referee says play on. Have Ulster managed to turn it over? I do believe they have. Ulster have got to get this one away. The touch has got to be found. And Pienaar doesn't really care, but he has found touch. Not his most effective kick, but Ulster living very dangerously, Eddie. There's a lot of rugby to be played here.
Yes, indeed, and they were very lucky there. That ball's shot out of the ruck as it does on the surface, as we talked about before the game, and gave Ulster a turnover, which they were very lucky. But yeah, I mean, it was just missed tackling here.
Yeah, Tom James ran between both Robbie Dack and Nick Williams, and neither back row forward got to him. Good work by Kyle McCall at the breakdown there for Ulster. Well taken at the front by Jared Howiata for the Cardiff Blues. Now they're churning forward yet again. Navidi's held up, or is he? He's still motoring forward. He's done well, and still Cardiff lay siege to the Ulster line. Howiata looking for another runner. Rees is there too. Navidi's there to help his skipper. Tomas Williams is looking for Falacy, I'm pretty sure. The enormous Tongan trundles forward. McCall with the tackle. Williams, how can Ulster hold this out? Williams again, surely now, lay low. Tackle by Sammy Arnold. Ulster have got men back and has scooped up illegally. Now, decision time for Cardiff, with lots of time on the clock. Do they go for the 3 to close the gap, or do they go for the scrummage where they have the advantage? I wouldn't be surprised if they go for the scrum. No,
I think they're going to take the 3. Well, maybe not. It's a big time in the game, because Ulster can hold them out here. Yeah, they're taking the kick, because psychologically Ulster hold them out. It's a big statement for the rest of the game, but I think they're happy enough to take the points and go back for more.
Darren Cave got in there, and there was a little hint of a headlock, but Cave realised that he had done something not particularly wrong, but just a little bit controversial, and he released. And quite sure why John Andrew was penalised. Maybe he was offside from that angle, but here comes Patchell again to record his 3rd penalty of this afternoon, and he does exactly that. And now we are back to a 4-point game. It's the Cardiff Blues 9 and Ulster 13, and on is coming Cardiff's replacement scrum half, Lewis Jones.
Yeah, I think this game has gone on to the wire, Jim, at the moment. I mean, for a while there, Ulster had the wind in their sails. Now it's turned around again. Cardiff are coming back. It's really a 1-score game here, albeit 4. It looks like Cardiff may need a try, but at the moment you wouldn't bet against that.
Roger Wilson's going to be coming on for Ulster. I think Franco van der Merwe's had a wee bit of trouble with his ribs, which means that Robbie Dack will have to go into the 2nd row.
Come on, please.
So Roger Wilson, who's past 200 caps for Ulster, is on. Well, taken in by Patchell yet again. He is brave as well as skillful. And Ulster get the penalty straight away. So Ulster will be hoping that this will re-establish that 7-point gap.
Yeah, it's a real gift from Cardiff. You know, Patchell took a great catch. Seemed no reason for them not to clear their lines, and they just sloppy at the ruck. And Ulster got in, and soft 3 points here. I mean, he's got a kick it yet, but it's you'd put your house on this one, front of the post.
Oh, don't say that, Eddie. Don't say that. You don't think you'd put that lovely house of yours in the west of Ireland on the line for anything, would you?
No.
No.
But I'd be very surprised if Paddy doesn't put this one through.
Yeah, good work at the restart by Ulster. A real serious challenge there. Stuart Olding looks on as his captain on outside half. Hopes to take Ulster to 17 points. Well, there so much for the house in the west of Ireland. You better phone her indoors and say she'll have to buy a tent. Paddy Jackson has missed that one. That was looked to be regulation, and that was just a wee lapse of concentration. And Cardiff are making a significant change. Their skipper Matthew Rees is going off, and on comes Christian Dacey. Replacements coming on thick and fast.
Yeah, and Chris
Henry's back on.
Yeah.
Head swathed in bandages, and off goes Sean Reedy. Just 4 points between them. Restart by Patchell. Clever kick. Little trap by Jacob Stockdale now. Where is he going? Running into a lot of blue and black jerseys is the answer. Pienaar. Jackson. Henry. Olding. Nice flat pass to Arnold, who's caused a problem or two, and here he goes again. Nice feet by Sammy Arnold. At full strength, such as the strength of midfield talent with Ulster, he probably feels he has to go elsewhere, but he'll be missed. And he's done something to himself. His hamstring, I think, has gone again. Roger Wilson into the action straight away. Peter Brown clears out. Pienaar on the narrow side to Robbie Dyack. Good tackling by the Cardiff Blues. Pienaar. Jackson. Backward from Kyle McCall, and Roger Wilson tidies it up. Ulster cannot afford to make silly mistakes like that. Taken on by Chris Henry. Cardiff battling, and Ulster, well, silly mistake upon silly mistake, and that's given Patchell the chance to close the gap to 1 single point.
Well, if you can say one thing about John Lacey, he's been consistent in his interpretation of the breakdown, and he's giving the poachers of the defensive team you know, chance to win the ball, and he's given them the call if they get their hands on it. And Ulster again, sloppy pass that went to ground, and they regrouped well, but again, accuracy, lack of accuracy over the ball, and Cardiff get in, get their hands on it. Well,
Sammy Arnold is down yet again, and I think that's the problem hamstring that kept him out of action for quite a while. He's only 19 years of age, and a young fellow like that, if he's getting consistent hamstring problems, then he needs just to take a rest from the game. He is in a bit of trouble, but we're concentrating on the outside half for Cardiff Blues. Reece Patchell, he's kicked 3 penalties so far. Can he make it 4? He's given that a fair wallop, and he's missed that one. Well, Ulster will be breathing a huge sigh of relief, because it looked as if that was going to be, well, it was a much more difficult kick than the one that Paddy Jackson missed, but the result was the same. And Rory Scholes has come on for the unfortunate Sam Arnold.
Sam Arnold looks in a lot of distress for that hamstring. It looks like a serious hamstring tear, unfortunately.
Jackson, not a bad distance, well taken in by Jared Hoyata for the Cardiff Blues, who are in Ulster's half. Lewis Jones to the replacement, Christian Dacey. Jones gets it away quickly again. Jared Evans, Patchell, this is Lilo. Oh, what a bit of acceleration, and what a bit of upper body strength. Really making life difficult for Ulster's defence. Cardiff on the front foot. Taken on by Tyre, the loose head prop. Back in the Ulster side, turned over. Here's Scholes. Did the right thing. Good kick by Scholes. Patchell recovers well. Scholes puts in a very good tackle. Lewis Jones looking for a wee gap, runs into Kyle McCall. Christian Dacey, very aggressive across the halfway line. Less than 10 minutes to go. Ulster still hanging on by their fingertips. Cardiff making progress. Lewis Jones, Ellis Jenkins with the offload. Falacy well tackled by Robbie Dyack, who pushes the massive Tongan back a little bit. Jones again. Here's Dacey. Well, steps inside the flailing arms of Ruan Pinar. Jones, Nick Williams up quickly, too quickly. Howiata gets it away. Ulster have to move. And the penalty against Cardiff. Hanging on in the tackle.
Yeah, same again. There's been a lot of those today, and this time it's Nick Williams, because he made a mistake coming out of his line, and he shouldn't have, but he recovered really well and got back to the ruck. He's playing like a man possessed at the moment, and certainly that was a big turnover.
Good tackle there by Dyack, and a good tackle by Ulster's replacement tight head prop Ricky Lutton, and the former All Black Jared Howiata has held on, and Ulster have cleared their lines. Just about 8 minutes remaining, and Ulster enjoying a 4-point lead at the moment. Another Cardiff replacement, Macaulay Cook, versatile fella, can play in the second row of the back row, is coming on. Ulster throw, great take at the line out by Robbie Dyack. He's been outstanding for the past couple of seasons in that respect. Ulster keeping it tight and going forward, trying to catch Cardiff offside, back on Ulster's side. Ooh, Navidi looked as if he was up very quickly. That was a dreadful pass, and Cardiff have got the ball back, and another unnecessary Ulster mistake, and here come the Blues. Patchell with a bit of zip, gets it away to Lilo, very nearly he has got through. Lilo's got away. Here come Cardiff right into Dennis. Patchell's going to win it for Cardiff. Ulster must be kicking themselves, and Rhys Patchell, who's been outstanding in just about everything, has finished it off for Cardiff, I'm pretty sure.
Well, certainly it's dug a huge hole for Ulster. A sloppy play again off the line out, no reason to turn it over, and certainly this time Cardiff taking full advantage. They had a long way to go, Jim, but they played really well. They held on to the ball, and as you said, Rhys Patchell, fantastic finish. He was involved in the movement twice.
Well, poor attempt at a tackle by Stockdale. Look at that, he bamboozled everybody, and Patchell kept his line and kept running, and the support play was quite superb. There was that dummy. Stockdale and somebody else inside him missed. I think it might have been Darren Cave, and away went Patchell. Well, what a finish here at the Arms Park.
Well, Lilo did well there, but again, you'd have to say the tackling was a bit sloppy. And
Patchell, yep, Patchell adds the points himself. So Cardiff in the lead for the very first time in this game, and this has happened at Ulster far too many times this season. The defence was very, very poor. Too many first-up tackles missed, but what actually gave it away was the mistake in the middle of the park when possession was lost from a fairly straightforward line-out, and Ulster tried to over-elaborate. So 16-13 to Cardiff, well taken in at the restart by the Blues. 6 minutes remaining. Patchell. Paddy Jackson, Ulster's captain, lost at home last week, may well be losing again away from home this week. Straight into the arms of the grateful Patchell. Lewis Jones might give it a wee kick. No, changes his mind. Josh Turnbull, who's been excellent. Well, this is going to be a serious blow to Ulster's, never mind semi-final hopes, but top six hopes. Lewis Jones gets it away. Cardiff playing with confidence. Lilo, lovely pass to Tom James. Steps inside Andrew. Again, a poor attempt at a tackle by Ulster's tight forwards. Jones waiting for Jared Evans, who takes it. Flat ball to Turnbull across the 10-metre line. Cardiff playing with increased confidence now. Evans, bit of a dummy, and again gets away, and it's Nick Williams misses the tackle, and it's Lilo. If anybody deserves a score, it's him. Good tackle by Rory Scholes, and Ulster may just have turned that one over. Now, can they break from here? Here goes Cave. He's got Olding with them. He gives it to Olding, little chip by the full-back, and across comes Patchell, and he gathers, and he gets it away again. This is wonderful stuff by Cardiff. Christian Dacey into Lewis Jones, the replacement scrum half. The Blues in full flow yet again. Replacement loose head prop is Thomas Davis. Cardiff keeping the pressure on Ulster. Patchell steps back inside. Falacy adds the 20-odd stones to help. Jones again, Josh Navidi. And Navidi gets away from yet another tackle, missed by Kyle McCall. Jones, Lilo, into Jackson, and away from Jackson, and away from Wilson, and away from Lutton. Lilo has scattered Ulster's defenders. Tom James, straight and hard, and Cardiff looking for one conclusive score, perhaps even to deny Ulster a losing bonus point, which would be doubly catastrophic for the men in white. Cardiff pressing as hard as they can. Here's Lewis Jones, Josh Turnbull, support from Ellis Jenkins and from the replacement prop. Jones again, Macaulay Cook saying give it to me and I'll go forward. Just over 3 minutes remaining. Josh Navidi. That one Ulster mistake has cost him this game, and dear knows what come the end of the season. Christian Dacey. Still Cardiff pressing. Here they come again. Turnbull sweeps it away nicely. James, oh, lovely transfer. It's Summerhill for Cardiff's second try, and that is going to make it a dreadful afternoon in the capital of the Principality for this Ulster side.
Well, Ulster themselves down again, Jim, in the build-up, slipped off some soft tackling that Cardiff right deep into the heart of the Ulster territory, and you got to give credit to Cardiff. They showed great patience and just kept working that short side, a little pass behind out the back, and got round the corner.
Well,
smart play on the short side.
Lovely stuff, a lovely transfer there by Turnbull, and beautifully moved to this near side. There's Turnbull, and Ellis Jenkins caught and gave the ball in one movement, as you're taught to do when you're a little fella, and into the corner went Alan Summerhill, who played on the wing against Ulster last time out, playing now in the centre, and he's managed to pick up his 5th try for Cardiff. And here is the man who's been outstanding all afternoon, about to try to convert this second Cardiff try. What a nice strike. Well, when you're on form, you're on form. When you're hot, you're hot. And Patchell is on fire at the moment.
Well, he's had a huge influence on the game, Jim. Really, in the second half, he's come into his own, and he's really he's bossing the game at the moment. And you could probably say the difference between the two teams.
Well, 13 points for Patchell. Our colleagues have made Ray Lilo the man of the match, and you wouldn't disagree with that. He's knocked that one forward. Nick Williams slowing down by the second, just couldn't get to it. Nudge forward. Is there a chance for Ulster to come back? They need something to try to squeeze back a bonus point. Even a penalty, if my sums are right, would actually do them to get a losing bonus point. But Ulster at one stage, having been 13-6 up, have not scored for over half an hour.
Yeah, unfortunately, they've really lost momentum in the game, but still a bonus point. It could be a very important bonus point, Jim, if they can sneak it come the end of the season when it comes to the playoffs. So I think it all will do. 3 points gets them the losing bonus point.
Dave Shanahan has come on for Rowan Pienaar at scrum half. Not quite sure what's the point in bringing somebody on for 1 minute of a game, but never mind. So can Ulster's oft-times beleaguered scrum stand up well enough to get the ball away to the backs?
Bind.
They've lost Sammy Ireland, and that looks like a serious hamstring problem yet again, unfortunately for him. Shanahan pops it in for the first time. Oh, there's a confident scrum. Shanahan's got it away well. Doesn't manage to take the reverse pass, but it went backward. Jacob Stockdale tidies up. We've played 80 minutes now, and unless Ulster produce something quite spectacular. They're going to come away without a single point from this game. Referee says play on, and Cardiff, a confident Cardiff had turned it over, but Jackson's got away with it from Ulster. Just lobbed it out wide to see who's out there, and Stockdale is there. Little step by Stockdale. Still in Ulster's hands. Shanahan disrupted by Navidi. Shanahan's had a little go himself, but he's well contained. There's nobody at scrum half for Ulster. Roger Wilson obliges. Stuart Olding, no way through. In goes Lutton to help Wilson again at scrum half. And it's Jackson back to Gilroy. Well, Gilroy, no room in which to use those flashing feet of his. And again, it's slow ball. Shanahan does get it away. Wilson, Jackson, knocked forward by Lilo. Play on, says the referee. John Andrew tidies for Ulster. Ulster still have go forward ball. Shanahan this the near side. Sean Reedy does nicely, gets it to Scholes. Here goes Rory Scholes. Oh, nice run by Scholes. He's well tackled though, into touch, and that's going to be game over. John Lacey blows for no side, and look at the grin on the face of Reece Patchell, as wide as the River Taff itself, which runs just past this famous old ground. And Cardiff have put together a very, very good little sequence, and they pounced on all too many Ulster mistakes, and they punished an Ulster side, and having lost at home to the Scarlets last week, and now here to Cardiff. Ulster season, I hate to say this, may well be unravelling.
Well, Jim, on the face of it, you've got to say it's very disappointing. They're in a position to win the game and